So thank you everybody for joining us today. Today's webinar is building a strong website and social media presence. It is so important and I'm super excited about this content and able to share it with you today. And this webinar is approved for CEU credits, 0.1 credit. So we'll have information about that that we'll be sending out to you. Just to get started, a little bit of housekeeping. So if you have any questions during the presentation, type them into the chat box and we will be answering them at the end of the presentation during the Q&A. And we also have Taylor on board here too. So she'll be watching the chat and she is also an expert in websites, definitely social media. She is a rock star. So put your questions in chat and she might also pop in and help answer some of them. Is your brand positioned online to attract your ideal client? So is it positioned online to attract your ideal client? How is your ideal client perceiving you? Like, you know, you might think that they're thinking a certain way, but they might be perceiving you a different way. Is your brand positioned online to sell your projects for more? Again, how are they perceiving your business? Are they perceiving it like you're in business, doing this as a hobby? Are they perceiving your brand as a professional, established business that they can trust with their larger project? Is your brand positioned online to set your company apart? Set it apart from your competition. Like if they're comparing you against some other companies, is your company going to stand out as looking professional and a company that you can trust with a high quality service? So if this is your first time here, I am Deborah Scarpa. And Ashley next to me, she is our operations manager. She is a rock star. We have a full team. Taylor is with us today, helping with the webinar. She is amazing. In fact, she is our superstar when it comes to social media. We help interior designers transform their brands to get found online, win their dream clients, and work smarter by streamlining their processes. Our team guides your business to success with branding, websites, marketing, local SEO, and improving your processes. So we really, after talking to you, learning what your goals are, getting to know you, we make recommendations based on like what's going to move the needle the most. This course is approved by NKBA, so we're super excited about that. In order to report it, you'll need the course title, the instructor, which is me, the delivery method, the amount of CEU credits. Taylor just put that in chat. We will also be emailing that information out when we send out the recording, and we'll be emailing a certificate with that. So if you need a certificate to upload, you'll have that. Today's agenda, I'm super excited about it, is your ideal client, searching online. So understanding how people are finding, searching online and hiring people. 6 steps to building a strong online brand. So I'm going to go over the biggest mistakes people make, like tips on attracting your ideal client, tips on getting found online, and tips on getting paid more. So all of those are super important, right? And this again is worth 0.1 CEU credits. Taylor will also, if you haven't taken advantage of our free brand website and SEO audit, I do spend about a half an hour reviewing your business online and another half an hour in an online meeting with you, educating you on what needs to change in order to get to that next step, get to that next level. So if you haven't signed up for that, it is free. It's super high value. There's a link in chat to sign up. So understanding how your ideal client is searching online, and you might have been in other webinars where you've seen me talking about this, because I do talk about it a lot. And the reason why is because so many of our clients, designers, are getting large projects from their ideal clients, finding them this way. Right? So just think about how everybody is using Google to do searches. You know, I'm sure when you go out to a restaurant, you're searching what type of restaurant you want and the location. Everybody is, you know, your prospects are doing that to search for your services. So they're putting in interior designer near me. They might be more specific about what type of design service they're looking for, and they might be more specific on what location they're in. Then the next step is they're going to look down the list in the maps. They're going to open up the maps. If they're looking for somebody local, they're going to look down the list to see who has the best reviews. Again, it is just the same as if you're looking for a restaurant. And then they're going to open the websites that have the most reviews, and maybe they're going to open 3, maybe they're going to open up 5, but those reviews are super important in order to, you know, attract your ideal client. So they even consider you and consider opening your website. And then within, people have super short attention spans. So within 3, maybe at the most 10 seconds, they're going to decide, am I interested or am I not interested? So this is one of our clients, Holly. This is hers. The interested is after, like we finished rebranding her and transforming her brand online. And the other one was her before, right? So same company, same work. Think about how somebody would perceive one company over the other. Like obviously they would value and trust the one that has been redesigned more. That's what we're going to talk about. So I'm just giving you a couple samples so you understand perceived value, because your company, like you perceive it a certain way. Prospects who haven't had a conversation with you, that are just looking at your brand online, are perceiving your business probably a different way than you are. So the goal is to make your online brand match up with what you're actually delivering. So here is the after. So if you're looking at the two, like which company would you trust more, this one or this one? Which one would you assume charges more, this one or this one, right? You trust this one with your bigger project. So this type of business that has a more professional brand is going to be getting those larger projects. And we see that happening with our clients. Here's another one. Everybody has a different style. So here is her before, and here is her after, but it still looks very professional, even though it's a very different style than the other designer. You want your online brand to reflect you and your work to attract that ideal client. So let's talk about the steps. 6 steps to building a strong online brand. I'm like breaking it down for you so you can really understand how important each one of these steps are. So 1, brand positioning strategy. Strategy, like, is just the same as, like, think about if you're going to do a design project and you never have a conversation with the client. Of course, the end result is not going to be on target, right? Because you haven't learned, you don't know them. You haven't talked to them to find out their needs and what their goals are, right? So step 1 is strategy. If somebody is going to write copy and create a brand and they're not doing strategy, it's not going to be the right fit, right? Copywriting. Copywriting is the text on your website. Absolutely. Like, it is super important. I was just with somebody and they had actually taken off some of their copy, and their SEO rankings had dropped because they took that off, right? Google cannot see pictures. They are just, Google is reading the text, and it is reading it for those SEO keywords. It is trying to understand what you're offering. So think about a library. You know, Google is just like a library where they read through your site. They understand, you know, if you have the keywords and everything programmed the right way, they understand. They start to understand your services and what you're offering. And then when somebody does a Google search, you know, they know where to go get it because they filed it in a certain spot. If you don't have those keywords and you don't have any copy, then there's no way for Google to understand it, and they're not going to file it in a spot that they know that they can go to when somebody's searching, right, to pull it up. So copywriting, super important, super important. Step 3, logo and website design. Have a professional design like I just showed you. Look professional. Your online brand, your logo, your website design should, like, represent your work. It should be the same quality as your work, the same type of look and feel. It shouldn't be competing with your work. It should be like a frame, almost like highlighting your work. When they see a website and the website design is overpowering the work, then it's like the work gets lost. Step 4, SEO. We believe as a team, it doesn't make sense to do anything on a website unless you're optimizing it for SEO. Like, SEO is about getting found. It's like building a house without building the road. SEO is like building the road. Website programming. You know, you need to have the website programmed so it works functional. You have to make sure the keywords are programmed correctly, that it works on all devices. You know, now we have multiple devices, you know, different size phones, iPads, all kinds of different types of programming, right, for different devices. And then social media, 6. So let's go through each one. 1, brand positioning strategy. We're going to talk about, first, the biggest mistake, not doing strategy. Just the same, like I said, if you're doing a project and you don't sit down and really get to know your client, there's going to be, you're not going to be able to design something that represents them, that solves their problems. So strategy, absolutely. I know you guys understand that when you're working on one of your projects, but it is just as important when you're working on your marketing. Strategy first, because everything falls from that. For example, if, you say like, that you specialize in kitchens, right? Some of the strategy could be, what are the keywords, the SEO keywords that people are using for those types of services, right? So there's strategy is super important. How strategy can help you attract your ideal client. So think about position your online brand and content to attract your ideal client. So what type of problem are you trying to solve for your ideal client? And, position it online. So for an example of that would be, let's say again, it's a kitchen design. Okay. If it's a kitchen design, or I'm actually going to do a bathroom design. If it's a bathroom design and there's like, a design where it's a huge room and there's a really like custom tub and artwork and everything that is very custom and high end. You have a picture of that and you're talking about that in the content, right? That's positioning you to work with those type of clients. So think about how somebody is perceiving you based on the copy, the photos, the design. If you're trying to get those high-end designs and you have a blurry photo that, doesn't look, finished, then you're not going to attract those type of clients. And I'll show you some more examples of that. So getting found online strategy can help position your website copy and keywords to attract your ideal client. There's more keywords than just interior design. There's many, many more that people are using. And like really think about your services, and people are using keywords like, kitchen interior design, bathrooms interior design. There's so many different like smaller keywords that people are using that are important to include on your website. Getting paid more. Position your online brand to build trust and tell your unique story. So one of the things that I find is, and this happens every single time we have strategy with somebody, is we're asking them specific questions. And when they're answering, like they're telling us all these things that they're doing when they're delivering their projects, but they're not communicating that online in their content. So it's super important to uncover that so we can tell that story. Copywriting. Some of the biggest mistakes that I see people make with copywriting is starting with copy focused on your own company. So I can't say this enough. I see so many websites that start out with like a welcome to my company type of content. Think about copywriting, the copy on your website, as a conversation you would be having with somebody. So if you started the conversation, like if I started the conversation and it was, hi, I'm Deborah, I own a business, I've been in business for so many years, I've won a ton of awards, blah, 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 all about myself, right? You would be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk to her anymore. I'm going to go talk to somebody else. She's not listening to me. She doesn't care about what my needs are, right? And I'm confused about what she's offering because all she's talking about is herself or whoever, right? That's what they're thinking. So having copy that's focused on like your customer's needs first. So if I was having a conversation with you, we'd start out talking about, I'd ask questions about, what problems you're having, what, asking questions about their project, and then talking about how I've done projects like that before. Do you see how that's starting to build trust? And then, at the end of the conversation, it would be more about me. Well, now that they're interested, they would be more interested in learning about me. Well, I've done a lot of other projects like this. I've been in business for a long time. I've won a lot of awards. I've been published, right? That's how you would have a conversation in person. That's the same way that you want to think about your website copy. Copywriting and attracting your ideal client. So create copy that communicates who you want to work with, so your ideal client understands you specialize in helping people like them. Right? You have to communicate it. And that's what I mean by, uncovering that. And if most people are not, they don't specialize in writing, get somebody working with you that can help you through that if you're not, somebody that writes copy yourself. It does work. It does take working with you as a team, because obviously, somebody can't just write content when they don't know what's unique about what you're delivering. They need to uncover that first. Write copy that communicates to Google that your website is the best solution to deliver when your ideal client is searching online. Get paid more. So copywriting can help you get paid more. Position yourself as an authority with copy that communicates the value you offer when prospects are working with you. Like an example of that would be your process, right? If you're not communicating all the value you're offering, it looks like you're not doing anything. So when, if somebody thinks that you're not doing anything, they're going to assume that they're going to pay less, right? The more that you communicate everything that you're doing, like if you're doing project management, obviously that project would be worth more than somebody who is not doing project management, right? So see how if you're communicating that, that's going to communicate that you're offering more value, and people are going to be willing to pay more for that. So copywriting and telling your unique story. So, this is super important because like I said, we don't want to have just copy about you and your business. It is one of the things that we do want to have, but it's not first, and it's not the only thing. So what's unique about your services? What's your unique value? I always think of like your superpower. What is your superpower? What things are you doing? Who is your ideal client? What size of projects do you like to work on? Like if you're wanting to get these really big projects and you're communicating that, you're doing just small projects, then that's what people are going to assume that you're really good at. They're not going to think of you when they have a larger project. Project investment, like are the projects that you're wanting like large, medium, small? You can communicate that in multiple ways, whether it is the copy, the look, many ways you can. The design style, social proof. So social proof is about, let's say you're really good at kitchens and you have a whole bunch of testimonials talking about how amazing your design services are for kitchens, and they're talking about your process and you know, how you help them, that would be social proof. You and your business, that is absolutely important. But like I said, again, not first. Locations you service. So I go to so many websites and there's no locations, like maybe they're working out of their house and they don't want to put their home address on there, which I totally get. You need to be safe first, but having like listing the locations you service can be really helpful when somebody finds you online. So you're not wasting people's time. Or they know that you're a good fit for them. Step 3, logo and website design. Some of the biggest mistakes, having a brand and design that doesn't reflect the quality of your work. So we want to make sure, think of like the higher end clients, you know, they're probably staying at nice hotels. They're going shopping at nice boutiques. They're going out to nice restaurants. Think of the brands that they're interacting with and the quality of those. That's where you want your business to be if you want those type of clients. To attract your ideal client, your logo and website design. So create a website or Instagram page that gives prospects the same emotional response or gut feeling that your work does. So think about if somebody is standing in one of the rooms that you've designed, the feeling that they get, like, I am in love with this. I'm just so happy and I am in love with this. That's how you want them to feel when they're looking at your website or your Instagram page or any of your marketing material. You want them to have, they're scrolling down your Instagram page, you want everything that they're looking at to be like, I am in love with this. I want to work with this company. I don't really care how much it costs. I know it's going to be more than I expected, but I really love their work. That's what you want them to, that's the feeling that you want, the emotional response you want. How your logo and website design can help you get found online. So design a website that grabs your ideal client's interest and encourages them to take that next step. So you know, people will come, like I talked about with Google Maps, they'll open a website and count to maybe, you know, you have 3, maybe 10 seconds. So it needs to grab their interest and get them to take that next step. How the logo and website design can help you get paid more. So create a professional brand that builds trust and positions your business as an authority. There's so many parts to that, right? The design, the programming, the content, the photography, your work. Like, it does take multiple things working together in order to have that end result, but it's super important. So here again are some examples. So which business would you want to hire? Like the one on the right or the one on the left, right? Which one would you trust more with your larger project? Here's another example. Just want you guys to really feel it. Like if you look at Bowerbirds before we did the transformation, it looks like she's in business like doing it as a hobby versus like the one on the left that is the end result after the rebrand, right? So think about how people are perceiving you, because you might not have an opportunity to talk to them, to even have a conversation with them, if your brand isn't perceived online as being professional. And here's another one, before and after. So who would you trust? Who would, and you have to think about too, the investment. Like when they're hiring you, they're not just thinking of the, like your cost, they're thinking they're trusting you with their whole project. So if that is, you know, $100,000 project or more or less, they're thinking that they're trusting you to help them with that whole project. So that's what's really important to understand. And they're buying from you because you're designers. So somebody, a company where every touch point, you know, has that look and feel, is going to, you know, tell a story that like, yes, I'm a designer, right? And I'm going to help you create this amazing space that you've been dreaming about. Step 4, SEO. So some biggest mistakes: not programming your keywords correctly into your website. And I say that is so important. I get so many people coming to me who want to start SEO after their website is already programmed. They just launched a new website and now they want to do SEO. It's super important to do SEO first. Otherwise, you have to reprogram basically the whole website. So set it up correctly the first time. I always feel super bad when somebody comes to me and they just launched a website and now they want to do SEO and it hasn't been, keywords weren't selected based on their strategy and it wasn't programmed into their website. So not having a Google business profile. Absolutely, you won't show up in Google Maps. You won't be able to get Google reviews. Having a Google business profile is super important. Not having enough Google reviews. If you're wondering how many is enough, search online in Google, you know, interior designer, whatever services you're offering, and your location. Take a look at your competition. Every area is different. How competitive is your area? Take a look at your competitors. Look at how many reviews they have. Open up their websites. Review like how you would compare against them. Pretend like you're a prospect searching online. SEO and attracting your ideal client. So program your website and optimize your content using keywords that are going to attract your ideal client. So I know I've talked about this a little bit, but like if you specialize in bathrooms, you need to be using the keywords that attract people that are looking for those type of bathrooms. Or, you know, and even the style, like if you do modern bathrooms, then there's keywords that can target those type of people that are searching. Or, you know, kitchens, or a remodel, or, you know, there's so many different keywords. You don't want to use all of them. You just want to use the ones that are specific to your services that will attract your ideal client. How SEO can help you get found online. Absolutely. Like there is a huge list. In fact, our SEO team just sent me a list of you know, everything that they're currently doing for SEO. And it's a pretty long list. So get how it's going to help you get found online. Optimize your Google business profile with content, photos, keywords, and reviews that will attract your ideal client. Absolutely. And your website. Absolutely. Both. I know we had already talked about your website and how important it is, but all your, whether it's your website, Google business profile, other areas that you're, you know, online, they can all be optimized using keywords, which is going to help you like get found when somebody is searching. How SEO can help you get paid more. Implement a monthly SEO strategy to significantly increase leads, sales, projects, and revenue. So we do see a huge difference in SEO results based on like people, companies doing monthly SEO like strategies and content improvements. I always get asked, like a lot of people want to know, well, what are other people getting, you know, what kind of results are they getting for SEO? SEO, like you can't really compare yourself. Like we're not really comparing apples to apples all the time. So somebody else's location might be more competitive than yours or maybe less. That can impact the result. You might be doing more SEO like strategies and content monthly than somebody else. You might, maybe you've been in business longer. There's so many different things. Like maybe you've been published. I just had a meeting with somebody who had been like published multiple times, and she had called some SEO juice, like, you know, coming from she had traffic coming from those links. So there's a lot of different ways to build that SEO, and everybody is a little bit different depending on like what is implemented, how much is implemented, how often is it implemented, and you know, it can, and how competitive that your locations are. We use this tool, SEM Rush. It is an SEO tool. It gives a lot of reporting and everything. That's what we use for our keyword research. Here is one of our clients, a result without doing, not all our clients are doing like monthly content. Some are, some are not, right? So I just wanted to show you, like, absolutely, like this client, you can see like over here, like their keywords have gone up, and they've definitely seen an increase, right? But when it comes to, you know, competing, think about it this way. If your business is not doing monthly content and your competitor is, they're going to show up first, right? So think about it that way. Here is like one of our clients that is doing monthly content, right? So here's their competitors down here, and they are right up here. But again, and you can see like they have higher numbers here and here than, you know, than this, which is like lower numbers, right? It is important to build the website with those keywords. It's like laying the foundation and then, you know, improving it by doing monthly content. So don't think that that first step is not valuable. It absolutely is. Like, it's super important. Like, you have to do that first step in order to get to here, of building it into the website. Website programming, step 5, how important this is. Biggest mistake, having a website that is hard to navigate and doesn't have an engaging call to action, right? That is a big mistake. I'm a creative person. I like to be creative. The navigation on a website is not the place to be creative, because everybody looks in the exact same spot on every single website. They can actually track that. You can do heat mapping where you can track where people are going, and they're always going to the same place. So if you don't have your navigation in that place, you risk somebody closing your website and not looking further. And engaging call to action. You know, make it easy for them to have a conversation with you. Don't make it hard. Program your website to create a positive user experience that builds trust with your ideal client. So if things are broken, messy, not working, they're going to think that when you're working on their project, you're going to miss out on the details. Like, you're going to miss out on some important details. So think about, like, making sure that things aren't broken. Even just having your website on a secure hosting platform. You don't want if your website gets hacked, you know, it's down for several months. It can take a really long time to build that. Your SEO is going to be like in trouble. Clients might think that you've gone out of business. You know, making sure your website is programmed well, works on all devices, absolutely, like on a phone, laptop, iPad, you know, and that it's on a trusted hosting provider. You know, if it's on WordPress, it's getting those WordPress updates, so it doesn't break. So all the links are working. Something else that, when I was just talking to our SEO team the other day, we were talking about that Google is also always making changes. So they're making changes and to like how they prioritize content and stuff. So it is important to be constantly, like, you know, it doesn't have to be every week, but definitely reviewing your website, making sure that things aren't broken, making sure if you have an online calendar, it's still working, or that there's no broken links, or, you know, just making sure that everything is working. Website programming and getting found online. So program your website to work on mobile, that loads quickly and is hosted on a secure platform. That's what I was just talking about. Loading quickly. Definitely, people have super short attention spans. If they go to your site and the photos are like blurry, they're gonna not think that you do high quality work and they might leave. If they go to your site and the images are too big and they're loading super, you know, slow, then Google's not going to rank you high for SEO. They're going to actually like rank you a lot lower, and it's going to be a bad experience for your prospect, who's probably going to close the page and leave. So that's how important all these things are. How your website programming can help you get paid more. Make it easy for someone to have a conversation with you by integrating like an online calendar into your website. And I know sometimes I get pushback on like having an online calendar. The online calendar can be, think of it as just like a quick qualification call. You know, you might call it a consult, but it's really a 15-minute, you know, qualification call. It's, think about if your ideal client is working, maybe they're super busy in their career and they only have the weekends or like late nights to like look for somebody. You want to make sure that they can book an appointment, even if it's just for a call, when you're not available. If you just have your phone number or a form for them to fill out and they're super busy and they have to go back and forth, you might lose that prospect to somebody else that is easier to communicate with. Social media. One of the biggest mistakes, not using blocks of time to create content and not using like social media scheduling software to make posts. This is super important because you guys are super busy. I know you're already doing way too many things. There's just no way you can be creating content every day and being on social media with everything else that you're doing. So, you know, the content that's going to be created is going to be higher value, because you're going to be able to sit down and just think about it for a moment and write out like several posts, even if you're just doing bullet items or, you know, creating content. I always tell people there's so many apps on your phone where you can talk into your phone and it's going to type out, you know, like notes. It's going to type out what you're saying. Think about if you're at a project site and you just finished meeting with a client, you could pull up your phone and using that app, speak into it, take notes, have it take notes for you for maybe 5 minutes, and then you could send that outline to somebody on your team who's helping you with social media. How social, like in social media, how to attract your ideal client. So create content that communicates your value and grabs their attention when scrolling. That's super important. So as you're scrolling down the social media page, what kind of feeling, what kind of emotion do they get? Do they get like, wow, I am in love with this person. I want this no matter what. Just like if you go clothes shopping and you find something you're in love with, or you find a car or jewelry, right? You're probably okay spending extra because you are so in love with it. That's how you want to feel. Use well-crafted project videos, eye-catching graphics, photos. All of those really can help tell the story, communicate all the value that you're offering. Use before and after project images. The one mistake I do see people do is put the before picture first. Always have like, you want to make sure when they're scrolling down that page, they're seeing beautiful images, because that's what they want. They're hiring you because of the end result, not because of the process. Obviously, the process is super important and can help make sure that they're going to get that end result. But really, they are purchasing the end result. That's what they want. So blog post content, trends, you know, and finished projects. Social media and getting found. Use relevant hashtags that your ideal clients are using to search within social media. So what we mean by that is Like, I was just looking at somebody's social media page the other day, and they had a bunch of hashtags, but they weren't really anything about like their services and what they're selling. So they need to be the hashtags that other people, their ideal clients, are using to search for their services. And definitely it takes research to make that list. Stay in front of your audience often with consistent posts, stories, and reels. Social media and getting paid more. Again, I talked about this before. Use a professional photographer and high quality graphics. What I mean by high quality graphics is, like, if I go to your Instagram page and like you have clip art that looks like clip art, and it's like overpowering your work and looking super messy, or maybe like bright and just kind of tacky, it's not going to have that beautiful feel that we want your work to have. So make sure that they match your brand and the work that you're doing. Your brand should be matching the work that you offer, not overpowering it. So again, let's go over the steps that we just went through. 1, brand positioning strategy. 2, copywriting. 3, logo and website design. 4, SEO. 5, website programming. 6, social media. And then think about like ongoing marketing is super important. You need to be constantly doing, improvements in order to stay current, to, show all the value that you're offering to clients. For SEO, for everything, you need to stay current online. All right, I know we went through a ton of information here. Again, I am Deborah Scarpa, and Taylor is going to put a link again to the free brand website and SEO audit. So definitely sign up for that if you haven't signed up for that. And then it looks like there might be some questions. So in the Q&A, we will let me review that, and I will answer any questions that people might have, or feel free to put in chat if you have any other questions. Are there any sites that have design SEO keywords? So I'm not sure, Leah, if you mean, have we done SEO for design sites, or you mean just a site where you can go and there's a list of keywords? Maybe you could put that in chat. Yeah, so like, for example, we use SEMrush. I don't suggest that you sign up for it because it's, it's pretty expensive software. Got it. Okay. So there are tools online. The key to selecting the keywords is going through strategy. So really uncovering what services you're offering. And then next, writing content around those services and selecting the keywords that represent your services the best. And when we're selecting the keywords, there is a lot of strategy to them, like which words are ranking the best, and they might be a really popular keyword, they might be a less popular keyword, it'll also tell us how competitive is that keyword. Like if you're in New York City and you're trying to rank #1 for interior designer in New York City, that's going to be super competitive, right? But maybe if you specialize in modern kitchens for interior design, modern kitchens in, one of the smaller areas in New York, right, that would be less competitive. So there's a lot of strategy to picking those keywords based on your services and everything, and also how competitive they are. You don't just want to get all the keywords that are extremely competitive. You also want to start ranking for some of the smaller keywords. Otherwise, you might be waiting forever before you start ranking for some of those keywords, and you might be missing out on the opportunity for those smaller keywords. That's why over time it's important to continually work on SEO and improve the keywords that are coming up in Google Maps or on your website or other places online. So it's constantly just doing a little bit at a time to make those changes. So I hope that is helpful. And I wouldn't recommend, I would recommend getting an SEO expert, on your team to help you, because there is a lot to learn, and you guys are busy with other stuff, if that makes sense. But if you haven't signed up for our free audit, I'm happy to review your website and see where you're at, give you some clarity around that. Yeah, there is, like Taylor said, there is tools, but there's a lot of, it's not just about finding one keyword, there's strategy around each of them too. Yeah, but it can be confusing to figure out because there's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle that have to happen. But I like to educate you on the things that need to be done, because you need to have enough knowledge to understand what needs to be done. And if you're working with somebody doing monthly SEO, yeah, absolutely need to be getting some reporting and tracking to make sure that it's moving in the right direction. So anybody that's working with us for SEO, absolutely, we're checking things off the list, and we're also tracking it. So we can see the reporting that I showed you is part of the reporting that goes to the client, so they can see, and then reviewing it with them. But you don't want to be guessing. You want to be intentionally picking the keywords, programming them in, and tracking them so you can see the results. So if you're writing, for example, if you're writing any kind of blog content or anything like that, it does not make sense to do that unless you're, doing SEO and SEO correctly, because it's a lot of time to create all that content. And the only reason for creating that content is so it gets found. So it needs to be programmed and optimized for SEO and for those keywords in order to make that blog content worth the investment, whether it's time or money. right? I don't believe it makes sense to do things if it's not going to get results. It's just a waste of your time or investment. And you don't need to be doing everything. You just need to be doing a few things really well. Make sense? All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. I've enjoyed having you all here, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.